and go. And we are live.
Turn my sound. I'm sure my sound's off.
Uh-huh. I don't know if we got anybody in here yet or not, though.
We're here.
We're here.
Paul's here.
Paul's here.
Hi.
Guess that's all that counts. But
Well, no, the others count. They're just not here yet.
which I don't know if Jesse and Lisa was still doing their road life. I don't know if everybody might be over on that one or not.
I thought when I looked last it was over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it had posted and it said it streamed a little bit ago.
Ah,
Nope. It says now there's 16 watching. They're still live.
ah.
In
Yeah, there's Rebecca.
California.
Yeah. Hey,
Mhm.
Rebecca, how are you doing? There's Evelyn.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Evelyn.
I'm showing 5 in here. So,
There's Chris, Texas Raider. Howdy.
how are you doing? They're slowly trickling in. So, but yeah. I'll move this. Oops. Trying to. You thought I would have actually had everything set up and ready to go. I'm a little behind, I guess. But yeah, we
Hello, Desi.
hey Diz.
Glenn
Hey,
and
Des, how are
Shannon.
you doing?
Glenn and Shannon
slowly
live. I've never heard of them.
trickling in. Let everybody's joining us in here on this cool day.
It was very cool.
was.
Outside wasn't so bad because of the sunshine, but then when we went into the shop and there was no sunshine, it was cold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Colder inside than out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sitting there cutting
Hey.
the little strips for that frame on the table saw, and that table saw is acting like a fan, and my hands are getting really chilly.
Mm-hmm. There's Chris with them. Hello, Chris. Glad you're joining us tonight.
Yeah, glad you're here. Glad you're here. And just so everybody knows, yeah, we are co-streaming. So if y'all want to, you can jump over on Paul's, and so
There's Larry and Robin. It says, is that Larry's crippled up with a walker?
uh-oh.
And there's the Rusty Garage and Homestead.
Well, howdy, y'all.
Big
Glad
Mike.
to have you all here. So, but yeah, out there, like I said, yeah, running that table saw, and it's like you almost want to put gloves on, but then you don't put
Yeah.
gloves on when you're running with spinny blade things, and that's how you
Nope.
wind up.
It'll pull you in. That was glove that pulled my hand into that saw, or
Mhm.
else it'd just cut up the back of my
It'll
hand.
fix it for you. Howdy.
Hey, Joe. Luckily, I didn't have to do too much. So, but yeah.
One present left making for Christmas, and we're getting awful close.
Which luckily tomorrow will be a little bit warmer, so I can get out
I
there.
hope so.
I can pull them out of the clamps, and actually, I'll probably just by the time we get done, the glue will be set up, so I can just bring the whole thing in, and which I got sanded up, finish sanding it up tomorrow, then spin it over, put some wall hanging hardware, and it's done. So
At this time yesterday, I was completely caught up on firewood. Now I'm 5 loads behind.
yeah, I gotta get more firewood done up too. What are you building? Hold on, let me show you.
Not the name. Oh, you got them covered.
Yeah, I got it covered. I haven't taken a picture. This is not the frame that we. Oops, it's going sideways. Hold on, let me
You just have
bigify
to
me
read it
here.
sideways.
I don't know if it's showing up here. It's kind of hard to tell. The tape there is
Their names.
their last name, so I wanted to cut it out. We did make a short video for it, but it's got their last name, and it's got the dad's and his daughter's names and stuff. So, but I've had to redo the frame on it, but hopefully it'll turn out tomorrow, because Yeah, it's already on in glue and just needs pulled out of the clamps, sanded, finished, and wall hanging hardware on it, and it's ready to go. Because I was
I
wanting to have it
didn't.
done yesterday.
I didn't work on any Christmas gifts today, but Scott, my oldest son, and I finished spreading 3 tractor trailer loads of organic fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
We give our neighbors a different kind of gift for Christmas.
If it's usable, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
No, it just stinks.
Oh goodness.
Well, that works too. Fly buzzing around, but yeah, we got that, and yeah, I was hopefully I can get that done tomorrow too, because I gotta get out and get some more wood cut for us, and I gotta get some logs cut and loaded up on a trailer so I can take it up to my dad. That may wind up waiting until Thursday and going up and getting wood cut for him and hauled up for his shop because he doesn't have any. He uses wood stove in his shop, so, and this is where he spends most of the winter time, is in the shop building stuff and tinkering around. So
Mm-hmm.
he texted me the other day. He's like, "You ain't wood." I was like, "Well, I got trees down. I just got to get them done something with them." So
Glenn and
Work
Shannon had
each
said they had seen you sanding on a shirt the other day, and I already knew what they meant. Yeah, they fixed it and said short, not shirt. I have them kind of fingers too.
Yeah,
Me
yeah,
too.
same here.
The only thing about all that is all of what you did, you got banked videos now, and of all of what I did,
A
I never
few.
even took the camera out.
Which is
Mhm.
usually what we do.
Oh yeah, that would have made some video.
Yeah. And we've got the one, it's not done yet, but we got the one where we picked up the item from Springfield from the Grizzly store and brought down. So
Mhm.
we just got to get a spot cleaned out to get it put in there and get it put together. So,
There's Troy Sutton. Hey, glad to see you in. I hope you're doing good.
yeah. Ooh, it was heard about that last night, and hopefully, we're praying for you. So, but yeah, we got to get a hole cleaned out. One of these days, we're just going to have to.
Put everything on hold and clean the shop.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those deals. We got to pull everything out and make 3 piles. Stuff we're keeping, maybe, and it goes bye regardless, and then start putting stuff back in the shop. Starting with what we will keep, and then the maybes, and decide if it does stay or goes.
Some of that gets difficult to do for me. I've heard a lot of people use the rule: if I haven't used it in the last X amount of time, man, don't eat it. And,
Our problem is of course, a lot of stuff in there was my dad's.
Mhm.
He's been gone almost 20 years. Then when Eric's grandparents died, we put stuff of theirs in there. My mom passed, we put stuff of hers in there. So it's like, yeah, we don't use it, but it's hard to get rid of.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
a lot of the
Or to let go of
sentimental
some of
stuff.
that family stuff. I've got some tools, and my help the other day throwed one of my tools that I'd had to make to work on one certain part in the scrap iron pile. He was just moving stuff around. And
4/7
when he did that, I said, "Do you know what that is?" He said, "It
Hey, Lori,
has
welcome
to
in.
belong
Hey,
to
Lori.
something, It has to
Mm-hmm.
belong to something." Well, it's the tool to compress the spring on a PTO clutch on a 86 series tractor. And I showed him how it worked, and I said, the book said use IH this and such number tool, and I had to envision what it could maybe look like
Mm-hmm.
and build it because nobody has one. And so yeah, so I took and hung it back up on the wall.
Yeah. Um,
It's kind of my insurance policy. I won't have to work on one as long as I can find that tool.
yeah. And Chris said spring cleaning video. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a spring cleaning video. It'll probably be spring, summer, and
fall in next winter.
fall in next winter. It's going to be a big job.
Good evening,
So-
Christy Betts.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be a chore because everything just got crammed into there, and
We get something new and we just shove stuff a little further.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, shoot, it's. Hold on.
I posted it,
Oh, you did? Okay.
I think.
Oh, yep.
Yay! I did it all by myself.
She's starting to get technological.
Yeah, just don't push your luck.
Hey, I have heard that all relationships are psychological.
He's psycho.
You're
and I'm
logical.
logical.
I think you got that
Is
backwards.
that backwards?
I think you got that backwards.
I did get told the other day that I need to be medicated, so you know.
Sweet tea. That would, if I get to pick, make my medication sweet tea, I guess.
I turned around and informed them that
I will be here.
pills don't solve everything.
Yeah. The same way. Can't get rid of nothing. I blamed it on both being raised by folks that grew up during the Depression.
Hey, I know a lot of people that have their parents grew up during the Depression and they used the stuff they had. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't afraid of hard work. That was how they got out of that mess.
Yep.
Well, when I was a kid, our house burnt 3 different times, so we didn't have much memorabilia or anything like that left. So what we did have, I'm afraid to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My dad's got in his shop. He built it up tall, and he's got a bunch of old tools and stuff like that. And he was using my great uncle's table saw. He had a little contractor table saw that he bought. I don't know how many eons ago, and the motor finally gave out on it, and so he broke down and went and got him a new table saw the other day. He sent me a text of it. And
Rubbed it in.
Which the tool I got too, though, we need more than the
Yeah.
table saws right now. So
I seen you comparing them prices on them table saws. Oh, I don't think he can clean my shop that good. I remember hearing that.
Uh-huh. Well, what we wound up getting is something that both of us kept finding ourselves turning. It's like we need this.
We need it for this. We need it for that.
And so, yeah, it's we'll use it more right now, and then later on we can upgrade other equipment. I probably would rather get a better joiner or planer than a table saw right now, anyways. So
I was looking on. I watch Purple Wave to see what stuff's coming on there every day, and I think it was the school at Sarcoxy had is it Powermatic planer? Would have been an old one.
Mm-hmm.
And right up until the day that thing was to sell, it was still only bringing $100. And I'm like, maybe I'll bid on that. And I got busy, didn't watch it. It brought like $1,200.
Oh, goodness.
So there was obviously 2 people figured out they would have bid on it too. About the last minute.
Of course, I don't know, like that one we seen up there, $11,000 for planers. Woo.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what that one was 11?
Was it? Yeah. What was the 17th? Oh, that was this big CNC machine.
Yeah.
So, I passed up a old planer. It was whatever the dimensions that you can get. It's like 12 inches the widest or something like that on those little benchtop planers. Mm-hmm. This one was like 13 and a half or something. It was just a little bit wider than that, but it was one of them old cast iron, really heavy ones.
Oh, wow.
It was in a shop up there in downtown Joplin at a guy's house, and he'd passed away, and they're selling all of his stuff. And I missed it for $300. And the only drawback to it was it was 220, but that's not really a drawback if you've got 220,
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be the other thing we'll have to do with the shop too, is figure out how her dad had it wired up, because he's only got like 3 breakers in there right now. So I don't know if I'm going to have to run new wire over there to it to get more power to put bigger tools in, or if it just needs a bigger breaker box. And so, because I'm not quite sure how he had it. He had enough to work for him and do what he needed to do.
Redneck engineered everything.
Yeah. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Trust me, you and him would have got along great.
I may not know how to make things work for code, but I know how to make things work.
That's what he did.
Yep. And we just been kind of running it along. We haven't popped any breakers yet. So
Yeah. Knock on wood. Hey. Hi, Regina.
Hey, Regina, how are you? 230 volt is the way to go. Yes, it is.
Well, Glenn and Shannon, the truth is, if you're having to go bigger on electric motors, 3-phase is the way to go. 233 phase or 223 phase is how all my sawmill and I've got a big saw.
Yeah,
absolutely right, Rebecca. Been there. Well, the first time Mom and Dad had a single wide trailer. Let's see, I look at you like you're going to remember. Yeah.
I wasn't here.
I was in the first grade and it got struck by lightning and burnt all the way to the ground. Well, somebody told my mom, well, don't put one in the same spot that one's already burnt because it'll burn again. And she laughed and joked. She's like, well, we're getting a double wide this time. So only half of it will be there. Well, you gotta have I got to the 6th grade and we had the hot water heater exploded. And yeah, that half burnt. But we got it. Like I said, we'd lost everything that, so we got up. It was like 6:00 in the morning on a Sunday morning. We got up first day of December, first snow of the year. We ran outside in pajamas and barefoot and everything. We got that put out before the fire departments ever got here. But yeah, and so it was enough where we could rebuild. And yeah, of course, I wasn't living there the third time, but it was the same house. We had already over here, 2007.
Probably.
And me and my mom used to make candles. Well, I was at work. She was out in the candle shop. And I guess it was the flue or something on the wood stove. And yeah, it burnt to the ground.
Yeah, I was working nights at that time. And my nephew came over and woke me up. And
he wasn't even in school yet.
I ran over there and I'd parked my 4-wheeler I had at the time right at the end of their double wide. And it was right there, and that was the side they caught. And when I ran over there, because it was already had run across the ground and started catching the shop on fire. And so I ran over there to start stomping that out before it did finish catching the shop on fire. And I stopped and looked at my 4-wheeler, and it was already gone. So
I can't talk. Camping cage free, howdy.
welcome in.
Dink and tank, howdy. Couple neighbors there.
But 3-phase is almost for being in pure production. The casino down here is wood shop. It's 4 general table saws, and they live. Yep, and 3-phase is not only that, but it's also super expensive too.
Well, the way I had to do it, it's not. But I've got what I run on is rotary phase converters, and they cost you once. But the electric bill was still way cheaper than what it would have been running my mill on any kind of fuel. We were running 6 or 7 hours a day, and we'd burn through more than 5 gallons of gas a day. And when we swapped to electric, it added like $25 to our electric bill down there every month. And so if you was running that, and gas was costing us $3 back then, so $15 a day for 20 days versus like $30.
Wow.
It was quite a savings when I switched over to electric. But the electric motor was way cheaper than a gas motor, but when you add the phase converter with it, is more expensive. However, you can run several machines on one phase converter. Like I've got a 15 horsepower motor running on a 20 horse phase converter, but I've actually got another one that runs a cutoff saw, and we run them both at the same time quite a little bit. I used to have some resaws that we would make pallet stock with, and those ran on 3-phase. And the edger that I had, I converted it to a 3-phase motor too.
Yep.
Never had an electric bill down there that was over $60 for 1 month though, running all those machines.
I think ours right now, we average probably about 45, 50 a month.
Oh, out in the shop.
Yeah. So of course I got all their lights are LED, so those run a lot cheaper. Which we're
Deep
not running.
freezes out there.
Deep freeze is out there. That's the one big draw. Constant draw because of deep freeze, but so and the different tools off and on, so we don't run it too awful bad.
Oh.
Now if we had bigger table saw, bandsaw, joiner planers that actually ran off 220, then that bill would go up exponentially. But
They tell me that those 220 volt motors actually have a different starting mechanism in them that will wear out, and the 3-phase motors actually start magnetically, and
Huh.
so they have a lot longer longevity,
Oh,
longer
wow.
life than what those others do. I've got a friend who has a mill like Scott's that has somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000 hours on one 25 horsepower electric motor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just kind of sort of bulletproof unless you get struck by lightning. And I think we have had lightning strikes before, but we have fuses, and it'll
Mhm.
pop the fuses. He's on breakers now. We got it fixed up on breakers, but
Now our house electric bill is a lot higher. The shop and the house are split. They're separate. They're not on the
different
same.
meters.
So
That's the way mine is. My shop, my for working on stuff, and my sawmill is all on the chicken farm meter, and I got a different meter for the house. And yeah, my house one's more expensive, and I think it's because of the electric water heater.
Yep, that's what we got. Electric hot water heater. Wintertime is not as bad because we heat with wood, which we do have one space heater back in the bathroom, but the rest of the house we heat with wood. And summertime is the expensive one because we got 2 or 3 window units going to keep everything.
Wasn't this summer?
Yeah, true. So,
hey, Glenn, that actually, I don't have 3-phase running by my place. They would have to run wire for over a mile to get 3-phase to me, and I never even talked to them about it. Now, we thought about doing that whenever Scott moved the mill and built a building at his place, because the 3-phase does run right along the end of his place. But they do their billing different on that 3-phase. That if you've got a 3-phase meter, the way I've heard it done is they find your peak usage time and charge you by that for how many hours you use. And so that's what makes it so expensive. And you figure out to not make a peak usage, really high. Like you wouldn't go out there and turn on everything all at once.
Yeah.
Turn on this one, let it get going and whatever. But
yeah, that's kind of what my dad does up in his shop, which he's just his way Liberty does it, which used to be Empire, but they do the average and everything. So he'll go through and watch. Sometimes he'll watch what tools he runs and starts and stuff and everything else that way, because when he knows they're fixing to come out and look and see what he's doing. But I think
Wanda, that's more than $1 a day.
Our drafts have drafts and the walls. Yeah, I understand that. That's for sure.
Slate and plaster.
So
Anita and I lived for 15 years in a house my grandparents built in 39, and it had plaster and lath on the walls. Mm-hmm. And if I was having trouble sleeping, I could roll over and lean against the wall and it would freeze me to death. So I'd just go ahead and pass out then, I guess. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
This is I pay the city 145 months for sewer, storm, fire, garbage, water bills, usually 25 to 30 a month.
We have we have a really weird thing in my county. We get charged on our land taxes. A percentage of that goes to a fire department in Miami. that never responds.
Right.
Everything that's out here is either going to be tribe or volunteer. And so
Mhm.
we're paying the ones in Miami that never come out here, and they cannot get that lined out to where we're not paying for ones. I mean, we could be supporting our local guys probably
Yeah.
well, but they
Mhm.
won't get it ironed out. I guess it's too good of a deal for them over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Miami's gonna fight that tooth and nail because that'd be a lot of money they're gonna wind up.
And there's
Oh, yeah.
more people in Miami City than there are in the whole rest of the county. So
Mhm. I was gonna say it's probably closer for Seneca Fire to respond to you than Miami, ain't it?
there is a fire department at Peoria, which is only 4 miles,
Reynoldsville.
but we have our closest one is probably downstream. The tribe has a fire department at downstream.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So you-
And they respond to a lot of stuff here in our area.
Mhm. Dad's farm, his is literally on the west side of the Joplin city limits. It's considered Carl Junction Fire District because Joplin they hit Cleveland and they're hitting the brakes. They ain't going over unless asked for by another department. But his farm's in, like I said, Carl Junction, but Galena would always respond to us because they can get to us a whole lot quicker than Carl Junction could. Because they just come right down 7th Street and hit where Carl Junction would have to come from their closest station to where his farm was there in Carl. So it was a lot longer drive.
I got to say that I am a little bit surprised at some of the things that Indian tribes are doing with the money they're making at their casinos, or if they're even making any money. But they have built up some infrastructure. The Quapaw tribe has 3 or 4. I think there's at least 3, and there may be 4 remote fire departments in our part of the county.
Oh, wow.
One of them is all the way down, almost in Wyandotte, but it's Quapaw Tribe Fire Department. Pretty cool that they've thought to do that. And I suppose it's protecting their people as much as it is anybody else, but they don't care who you are when they respond.
Right.
Or listen to this, Tina. If you call the sheriff's office in Ottawa County
I did yesterday.
and need help, they're going to ask you, are you tribal or not?
Ah.
Because if you're tribal, they won't send the deputy. They call the marshals.
Yeah, I have to deal with the marshals. Yeah. But I happened to call while they were out to lunch, and they said they're closed right now. They'll be back after 1 o'clock.
You know what Kevin does? He says, my wife's tribal and I'm not. Which one of us do you want to win this argument? Of course, he's pretty confrontational. He don't mind, except when a dog comes up and sniffs him in the ear.
That was great.
He's really jumpy.
Oh, that was hilarious.
And he's getting more and more deaf the longer he works for me. And I won't be sneaking up on him, but he'll be down in the woods. I'll have hauled a load of logs out or something. He'll be down in the woods and have the loader down there, and he'll be cutting a tree, have his back turned to the trail. Ain't no other way to get there but the trail we've made. I get down in there and I'll just stand back by the loader and watch him for a little bit, and then I give up waiting and start the thing up, and he jumps when he hears that thing start, you know. And I stomped on stuff. Only thing I didn't do was sound an alarm, and maybe I need to take one of those beepers with me.
Yep. Yeah, we got one of the girls at work. Yeah, she's really jumpy and everything else, and easy to scare. I went over there to hand her some paperwork off a copier, and I went to hand it down. Boy, she jumped out of that chair screaming, and I'm like, I'm just giving you the stuff you just printed.
What the tribe is doing here, fire department's
top notch. Now they're working on reloading water systems and pipelines. So that's awesome.
The Quapaw tribe, been several years ago, a neighbor to my dad he's a junker. He comes up with stuff all the time. And he had gotten him an electric golf cart. And he was driving it around his yard and didn't realize it's shooting sparks out the bottom, caught the ground on fire. It was really dry.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad and I was working at the house, and Mom hollers out to the shop where we was working, "There's a fire over at the neighbors." And so we get over there. The fire wasn't on the neighbors. It got out of their yard and was burning all of Dad's pasture.
Oh
And
no.
our first line of defense is a 5-gallon bucket and an old pair of denim jeans. You can
Mm-hmm.
put out quite a bit of fire if the wind ain't blowing terrible with one of those. Well, I go down there and I'm beating the fire to death, and I'd gotten to where that I was about out of water, and I heard the sirens, and they had called the fire department, and here come them guys from up at downstream. And they have a brush truck up there. They showed up with half a tank of water. They got
Oh.
almost all the way around it. I mean, they didn't lack 100 foot of being able to put it all out, run
Mm-hmm.
out of water. The wind picked up, blowed it all back out there, and the whole thing was on fire again before Quapaw got there. And Quapaw and Peoria showed up about the same time. I don't know if there was somebody at the fire station in Quapaw or what the deal was, but the guys at Peoria carry a pager, and so it
Mm-hmm.
took them. They had to go to the fire department, and
Yeah.
so yeah. When they got here, I just stood back and said, "There's a ditch down there in the middle of that fire. Y'all don't want to run a truck off into." Back then, they had bumpers on the fronts of them trucks that them guys would ride on that bumper,
Mm-hmm.
closing the fire down. They've quit letting them do that.
Yeah.
I think because one a guy got run over after he drove through a ditch he wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah, we had
Hey, Lauren.
one out east of us back when I was still in the fire department years ago. Right at the beginning of deer season, he'd sit there, neighbor would start a fire, and it was one where we'd been dry for quite some time, and it got over on this guy's property. He was out setting his deer stands up and walking back to his truck when he saw the fire, and we got out there. I think P Ridge wound up coming out, and maybe Washburn or Stella Fire, one of the two. But anyway, there was three of us out there. Burned up all of his property, plus the guy that started the fire, because he decided he was going to burn some brush, and caught onto another neighbor's property. And we had one of the old brush trucks like that where you'd sit there on the front of the truck, and one of the guys was from Stella or Washburn, I can't remember which one, was right on the front of it. Driver was sitting there looking, watching the out, instead of watching out the front, wound up hitting the front of the tree or running into a tree with the front of that truck and knocked the other guy off. So luckily he didn't. I think he wound up with a twisted ankle and tweaked his wrist, but that was about it. But he got lucky on that one. So,
Lynn Farm Okie, I think that's same. It used to be Lynn the Okie.
Mhm.
She said that the tribe would give away presents. Yeah, they do that. They do a whole bunch more than what I even know. They've got a deal for their elders in their tribe where they can go get a lunch at their cafeteria at their office for like, I don't remember what it is. If they got a card, they get it free, and if you don't have a card, it's $5.
oh
And
wow.
Kevin goes over there and eats sometimes. He's friends with some guys that are usually there. And then the Quapaw tribe has got a processing plant where they process their own meat, and they raise cattle and feed cattle over there. But if you're by any of their places, like up here by downstream, they got buffalo, and I think they process their own buffalo over there too. And
wow.
the place that used to be Burgraff Tire in Quapaw in the city, they have made into a further processing shop where their tribal members can go and buy their meat at a discount. And
Mm-hmm.
anybody can go in there and buy meat at that place, but and they'll have some stuff that you usually don't see in the grocery store, like bison.
Mm-hmm.
And they've donated stuff to us for they donated some chicken to my church a few years ago to split up and put in our food baskets that we were giving out to some families that need a little help.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave us two big old boxes, and I don't know, they were probably 6 inches thick and 2 foot by 12 or 14 inches wide,
Oh wow.
and they were chicken thighs. And I thought, well, that's going to be really, and they were already froze. And I'm like, that's going to be really cool. We can just bust them up. Yeah. No. They had put them in a bladder and put them in that box and then froze them.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And we had to completely thaw that out to split it up. And I was thinking, how in the world did you get this thing to be so heavy? That's how.
Uh-huh.
They had deboned all them chicken thighs and just put them in there and then froze them solid. They were actually vacuum packed before they were froze. It was really
we
difficult.
had our shop with the hero, what we'd been raising money for, which we raised over $30,000 this year.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think, which something come up and we didn't end up going to help the kids shop, but it is what it is. But yeah, 360 kids, I think we got to take shopping. So
That's cool.
that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few deputies that had a pretty rough year. We were able to help their kids out. And so, yeah.
There's old Bowen. Yep. The
Hey,
local
Bowen.
tribe. I know some of the other tribes that are benefiting from their businesses are doing things for their members. And
Hey,
You
Evan.
have it.
housing is a big thing right now. There's a lot of people that just can't get adequate housing, and they're helping their people to get a good place to live.
Mhm.
Jennifer.
Yeah, exactly, Tamara. Exactly. It was a mess.
I bet.
We were butchering chickens and we hadn't even killed a chicken. That was how bad the mess was. And
Mhm.
the other thing hits me like, who uses 25 pounds of chicken thighs all at once?
True. We got a
Apparently,
freezer full of
Southeast-
it out there froze. Not like that, luckily.
Yeah.
apparently Southeast Baptist Church does. I don't. Yeah, it was crazy how they had them
Mhm.
back.
Fire. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to say hi to everybody.
Hello, Evan.
I know we missed a few saying actually hi to them as they came in. The chat's been rolling pretty good and everything, but yeah, we
There's glitter. There's glitter and Skittles. That's what I'm gonna start calling her.
Glitter and Skittles.
Jennifer.
Mhm.
I like glitter, but Skittles are hard on my teeth.
Yeah, but they last so long when they get stuck in your tooth.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know that the toothbrush was invented in Arkansas?
Huh.
If it had been invented anywhere else, it would have been the teeth brush.
I've heard that a time or two.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's
Uh,
funny. But hold on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and paste the link again. If anybody
Yes, that would make a huge pot of chicken and dumplings. I was just thinking, if a guy was going to grill all those, you'd have to have a grill the size of a truck
Big.
bed.
right?
Now I'm getting hungry. Every good conversation has to turn to food, right?
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned chicken and dumplings, and that does sound good, especially put them over some fresh mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I had homemade chicken and noodles last night over mashed potatoes at Granny Schaefer's. Then I had the rest for breakfast.
I had chicken fried steak, and I ate all of it.
We had a really good dinner at church Sunday. That was our holiday dinner. We always try to do it kind of between Thanksgiving and Christmas. That way people aren't burned out on it, And
Yep.
it was just really, really good. We had a lot of people stay. We even had one family of visitors that hardly ever there, and they came and stayed and ate with us. Had plenty of food. I didn't say there was anything wrong with glitter. I didn't say there's anything wrong with Skittles. I just, when I see your name, because I know you like that stuff, it makes me think glitter and Skittles.
Mhm. We're having that tonight, Tina.
Woohoo.
That sounds good.
Jessie had a fit because she wanted to bring home a strawberry rhubarb pie, and I told her she didn't need that.
They didn't have any.
Oh, did they not?
I didn't see none over there. So
We didn't need it anyway. Would have tasted good though.
yeah, it would have. I'll never turn down a good strawberry rhubarb pie.
And they make really good ones.
Yes, they do.
Hey, I don't know if you guys knew about it or not, but man, the cahoot was really messed up Thursday night. I mean, we messed that up big time.
Ah, that
Mhm.
one the tractor one. I would have thought Paul would have won that one.
Paul did win that one.
I know he did.
And I
Yeah,
get a
not third
text.
place.
I get a text while we're playing that from Greg Duncan. Let's see what it was he told me exactly. He says, Anyway, he said, I did the very best I could do. I got you 5th place. That's what he said. So he was being Paul Case.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Trey was Trey. And
There
I
was all
think,
sorts of names messed up there, weren't there?
Wasn't there and
Chris?
he's in here. I think Texas Raider Chris was actually Chris.
Right?
I was being Texas Raider. It was really messed up. And Dale knew it was messed up because he's like,
Oh, goodness.
I still got one of those questions on the tractor one wrong. I can't remember what one it was, but I knew I'd messed up as quick as I pushed the button.
Well, that first one with the Christmas one, I knew it was the same question as the week before, right? And I answered it the wrong one anyway.
I still didn't get them right. I'm like, I have given this wrong answer twice.
We always put an angel on the top of our tree, not a star.
You know the story about how come there's an angel on top of the tree, don't you? You ever heard?
Probably, but go ahead and tell us.
Okay. There was an angel wanted to gift Santa a Christmas tree one year during Christmas, and she takes it up to the North Pole on Christmas Eve. Santa's been having a really rough day, though, because the temperatures were like 50 degrees colder than what it normally is. Half his reindeer froze to death, so he's not going to have but half a crew. He goes into the workshop, and all the elves have decided to leave because it got too cold. Mrs. Claus couldn't do anything to help him besides just sit by the fire, and so he goes into their sales shop, and the line's backed up out the door, and he's the only one there. And so he's trying to help people get checked out. And while he's doing that, he ran out of money, change in the cash register. He had to get coins. And so he bent down to get a package of coins off the shelf underneath it. And when he stood up, his head hit the cash register drawer and knocked it over and spilled stuff everywhere. He's having to pick all that up about the time the angel showed up. And the angel says, Santa Claus, I brought you a Christmas tree. Where do you want me to put it?
Oh, boy.
No, I'm not popping out. I'm here for the duration.
Oh, goodness.
That was what I got told. We always had a star on top of ours. Mom and Dad had the same decorations from the time I was a baby until probably I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Gold, sparkly tinsel, and styrofoam gold sparkly balls that we hung on the tree. Same, I bet they've still got the same star, but they've got out of the habit of putting a tree up. So.
And we haven't put a tree up, and well, I
Me
guess
and
we got
Jesse
that
put a
one.
tree up. It's
Yeah.
a little bitty one, but you know.
It works.
My granny had a ceramic one that had the little lights poking out of every little limb. That was her tree, and most years you could set it on top of the 2 or 3 gifts that would even show up at her house. And I don't really know why, but the Case side of my family just hardly ever got together for Christmas, and I think it's because they were getting together every Sunday to eat lunch after church. They did that a lot. But the other side of my family always got together. But I remember the Christmases at home.
Jokes, that's twice now.
You ought to sub to my channel. You might learn some new ones because I can't help it but tell a new one.
Sorry, not being too talkative. I'm filling my face. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
There you go. Avid, was it you? Were you playing Trey's name? I figured it was Trey that done Paul Case, but it wasn't. It was Greg. So
My grandparents were the same way. They had the same tree from time I was itty bitty till time my grandma passed away in 17 or 16. Grandpa passed away.
Grandpa.
She passed-
17.
yeah.
I didn't say same tree. We never had the same tree. That's
She did.
anything. It was a cedar every year.
Mm.
Look,
And
them
we would go out and find it.
Well, they had this fake one, and yeah, they had the same tinsel, the same lights.
No, there was new decorations every year, but they were added to the old ones. Those old ones
Well,
are
they
always
would
there.
cycle out some of the old ones and stuff, but
Right.
yeah, you still had the same basic ones, and every year, and
She would
yeah.
always go to, was it a Hallmark store?
yeah.
And everybody got their own special ornament. So we have boxes of them in the closet.
Well, until
I
we
don't-
got married, then she'd buy us each one to share instead of
Right.
me my own.
I don't think I remember mom and dad ever like receiving any ornaments until I was probably in my teenager years that was different than what they had. But the gold stuff matched the carpet in their living room.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
we always did a real tree when growing up with mom and dad, and then my grandparents, yeah, they did the fake tree every year. And I remember itty bitty because, like I said, mom or my grandma would do the Hallmark thing every year for everybody. So
Mhm.
the basic red and green glass bulbs that they had slowly got replaced over the years with the ones that we got from my grandparents. And
Cutting a cedar tree and taking it in your house kind of limits you on how long that thing's going to be in there, though. And I know my mom had figured it out. You always put a white sheet, and usually it was somebody's bed sheet, and put that underneath of the deal that goes around the bottom of the tree. And that way, when you take that thing off and you start taking them decorations off, you spread that all out. And then that whole tree gets wrapped up in that stuff so it can go out the door without shedding everything off from it.
yep.
And my dad had made the stand we used out of a piece of pipe, and he'd welded a nut to a hole on the side of it to where he had a bolt that screwed into the tree, and the bottom of it was a disc blade.
We used a cream can one year.
Really?
Yep. Looked pretty neat.
I bet that did look neat and make it
Yep.
stand up a little bit. That was always the thing. You had to really be picky about what tree you was going to use, or else you're going to cut as much of it off and throw it away.
Well, my dad always had to be difficult, and mom told him she was going to get a artificial tree, and he said, no, I'll go out and cut a tree. Well, he never could cut a nice one, so he'd get two trees and wire them together. And mom says, that's it, I've had enough, I'm going to buy an artificial one. Yeah. But yeah, he would wire in branches and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh,
Fix
no.
it, huh? Well, I don't mean to tell on anybody, but are we boring?
Is she
I
is she
just-
over there sleeping?
I just heard a noise from the other end of this room, and I think she's over there laid in her recliner asleep.
So you pick up the laptop and you go over there, put her on camera.
No, I'm not.
It may
Stupid.
not be good for Paul later.
I'm not stupid. Come on.
Oh, goodness.
She asked me though before we got on here, "Do you want me to fix supper now?" And I'm like, "No."
She's been busy making cups. She's tired.
I can show you what she's been doing, some of what she's been doing while I was gone today.
Ah.
Can't see it.
Hold on, let me bigify it here. Always forget about that.
Cards.
Christmas
Ooh.
cards.
Cards.
Lots of them.
We
I've
do
had
a
few
card
mail
exchange
out,
at
but
church. I wouldn't dare mail out cards, but we
I'm
do a
terrible
card
at mailing out Christmas cards. So if nobody got any, I'm sorry.
Well, I've received a couple from people, and
Supper, what's for supper? Hey, there's Dale.
I'm on my way. Oh, goodness.
Well, Dale, we haven't had supper yet, and
I got this one from Dale and Lisa. Yep.
I didn't even bring my
Thinking of you this
Christmas.
Christmas. I think I've gotten one from somebody else. I can't remember. It ain't sitting here right now. Yeah.
Trying to think. I got one from Evelyn, Nana Dale, Making It Home.
Lauren and Joel.
Somebody else.
Lauren is unbelievable. That gal has been everywhere. She is like the Forrest Gump of our community. Is there something that went on that she wasn't like, oh, I was by there when they did that, you know?
hey, Neil, how's it going?
That's incredible. Some of the
That's somewhere
stories.
around.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
They are in here somewhere. They were in here earlier.
Yeah,
I'm like, she needs to write a book because there ain't no sense in letting that end with her. You can be everywhere all at the right time because she's done
There's
it.
a song about that.
yeah.
I've been
Oh, Dale.
everywhere, man. I got
Did you?
Our Louisiana life. I ain't get one of them.
Homesteading with the Laws. They've got a sawmill like y'all's.
Mm-hmm.
They use theirs.
Oh yeah, they do. Well, I think he works in that industry a little bit too.
I'm convinced we just buy things like that to collect them. We don't use them after we buy them.
You really don't need a table saw. You got a sawmill.
That is true.
The only thing you can't do is rip 2-foot pieces of plywood or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys, if you don't see me after this live again, you know what happened.
She fell into the sawmill.
did you hear about the guy that fell into the sawmill and it cut off all of his left side?
Ow.
Don't worry about it. He's all right.
Oh, goodness.
I told the one about the
Hey, Joe.
putting it in a plastic bag and taking him with him to the hospital.
Well,
I'm pretty sure I told that one already.
You're going to start eating. Everybody's talking about eating, and now I'm hungry.
Glad I got my little bit of popcorn in me. Hope somebody's up now.
Yeah.
Supper time in a little while.
Well, you can always just sit there and munch on as we go. So
I'm
Reach out
within.
and take it from you.
I'm within reach of the refrigerator.
I'm not, but I'm next to the door.
yeah.
Of course, like I'm telling you guys anything. You've sat at my table before. My table has been really plugged up for a long time, though. Here, I've got one of these sitting on my table. I did have a bander sitting on my table, and then ever since the 4-wheelers left my mom and dad's, and it wasn't us taking them. I've got an assortment of keys.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a place to hang these up. I'm just too lazy to do it. This has been on my table for quite a little while.
Yeah.
It's not doing you much good there, is it? No?
Another one of them. I think I've got all the stuff. It'll have to freeze to where I can't get the water outside to work, I guess. So I take the time to put it in.
Yeah.
My water for the only outside water I have, which waters right now was watering half of the cattle I'm taking care of, goes through our garage. Well, when it gets down below 20, it'll freeze up. And so I'm going to have to make a line that goes in the ceiling in here in the kitchen across to the south wall. That's what I'm for. I'm going to do it.
That's what I said about my cards too. However, mine's not the post office's fault. I'm just slow.
Made a spectacle out of himself. Oh, come on.
Fixing to.
Pull up some tube on the big screen.
We want to have an amazing evening and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too.
So, Chris, are you going to tell us who you were on Kahoot It? Come on, Texas Raider.
Yeah, there's 2 games in one now. Not only do we play Kahoot It, then we have to guess who's playing on Kahoot It.
Uh-huh. It must have been after I went to bed Thursday.
Yeah,
night.
you went pretty early.
Merry
So-
Christmas to you, Tamara and David.
At least I didn't have to log in and comment to have them tell you to turn the TV down.
I can't help it. I'm not a very quiet person.
Yeah, Trey had some of that kind of trouble with the packages he was sending, Joe. And they just got to, I think he said his went to Shreveport and sat there for several days.
Yeah, the one I mailed to Nan and Dale, I mailed it 2 weeks ago, this last Thursday. So a little over 2 weeks. And they said it was 2-day shipping. It took 2 weeks.
And if you'd have just waited, you could have given it to him last night.
Right?
I hate that the way it works.
Yep.
I'll see stuff because I've got the post office app on my phone, and something will sit up there and hit Kansas City. It'll go from normally it goes from supposed to go Kansas City down to Knoll and then on up out to us. But it'll go from Kansas City, sit there for a day or two, then all of a sudden it winds up in Springfield and then back in Kansas City. And then it'll sit there for another day or two before it finally makes its way down here.
Evelyn was Ma. I thought that, but I wasn't sure.
I wonder if Dale even knows that because he never calls her Evelyn. I know he knows Lori. I know he knows Lori. Lori and I got mixed up whenever I started trying to play that. I put PCF, and he kept calling me Lori. I guess I got to do something different. So.
Yeah, it's like I said, I missed out on all the fun because I wasn't feeling good that night, so I went to bed early.
He come home crappy something. I didn't even ask why, because I was like, yep, just leave it be.
Full moon.
I watched a little bit, and then I wound up going on to bed. I think I stayed up for like 30 minutes into Dale and Lisa's, and then I was done. I had to go to bed.
There, Dale, if you're still in here, you need to look at Lynn's post. She wants you to let them know when you get a package. Dale. Does he know? Old Dale. Hey, there you go. We can say this about Dale. He knows more than he lets on like.
That's for sure. Does that make him like Santa Claus?
I don't know. Does he know when you've been naughty or nice? Does he know when you're sleeping or awake?
I stay on the naughty list.
Come on, Tina. Are you A list or B? Are you A or B list? Which one?
Oh, but yeah, I'm usually the naughty list. Yeah.
Well, I do want to. I'm not big on breaking my arm to pat myself on the back, but I installed a front end loader on tractor here a while back, and the biggest part of the way it got installed on there is by some welds that I made. That was 2 of them were like 8 inches long, and 2 of them were like almost 2 foot long, and we loaded 75 tons of organic fertilizer with that. And it was the only thing that didn't need work when we were done.
Well, that's good. I went out, started my tractor to let it warm up for a while, and it didn't want to start, so I'm going to have to go out and fiddle with that tomorrow. I think I let it sit for too much during the cold, when it got cold.
Is it diesel?
Yep.
Yep. You wouldn't want to mess with it too much unless you put treatment in the fuel.
Okay.
And, probably I don't know. There's so many different ways to go on that treating the fuel thing, but I'm reverting back to an old truck driver trick. I've been putting 1 gallon of unleaded gasoline in 50 gallon of diesel. And a friend of mine that was a truck driver said he did that and never had any trouble with his diesel gelling up, and he ran a lot in the cold. What do you think organic fertilizer is, glitter and Skittles?
I know exactly what that is.
This is the kind that had eggshells in it.
But what?
Well, she says shameless plug, but she can't spell. I don't know what Jesse's doing, but yeah, she's on here.
Oh. Shameless.
She was probably telling me to read her message.
Oh, she's probably posted her link.
Shameless plug, but it come more like shampless or
Shampus plug.
Shamu? What?
Leave it to Jesse.
Plug Shampus.
You're supposed to be at Walmart and then getting dinner.
You know, that's something my wife has not made me a subject to. That happens almost every year about this time. Maybe it's just fixing to start. I don't know, but I have been in the house when there was nothing but Hallmark movies. It was enough to make you enjoy going out so you could spread some organic fertilizer. And I mean, just
I
one
watch
after
Hallmark
the other.
movies.
I seen a deal the other day where a guy said, "I figured these Hallmark movies out. You can tell what name the movie is going to be by who the players are and where the setting's at." And he had it all on a graph, and you put in the name of some of the actors and what the setting was for it, and it'd tell you what the name of the movie was. All of them were Hallmark movies. I'm like, yeah, you got too much time on your hands. Your wife's in there watching Hallmark movies or something.
Yeah, and they all end the same and everything else, and it's like,
I wish it all in the real world ended like that. Everything's hunky dory.
And everybody, who wants to sit and cry at a movie all the time?
And the bank didn't get my place and wreck it and build an aspirin factory. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they all.
I watch two Christmas movies that make me cry every year, and they are old movies, so older than I am even.
Which is really old. Which ones are they, dear?
Vacation.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I've cried at that one since I was little. And then, like I said, somebody said something, and nobody knows what it is, but it's Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey. It's the story of the donkey that carried Mary to Bethlehem, and they were all mean to him, and yeah, they made fun of him. His mommy died. It was sad. My sister still messages me and laughs, asking if I'm crying through it, and it's like, well, yes.
I know what you mean, Dale. I wouldn't buy a Hallmark card for love nor money.
Hallmark movies,
Rather watch paint dry.
same plot, same storyline. Yep, exactly. I don't know. I like my Christmas movie.
Yeah, we can't watch any other Christmas movies until he watches his first.
Die Hard.
Yep.
I had a preacher friend of mine that said, you can tell when Hallmark movie's over. And I said, how's that? And he said, they kiss and then it's over. It's done. Oh. Well,
but yeah, those two, they're the old from the 60s, the old claymation movies. And
yeah.
all the remakes just ain't the same.
Well, Jennifer Ocean Homestead, why don't you just learn about tractors then instead of watching the Hallmark Channel?
Yeah.
Flip over to RFD and see if you can listen to Brian Baxter or Max Armstrong. They'll learn you something about tractors. I love it whenever there's two people that I watch some of their stuff on YouTube that wind up at the same auction. And I'm like, haven't I seen this video before? Oh, it was on the other guy's channel. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out they even know each other. I'm like, well, I watch both of y'all's channel. You don't neither one of you know me, but you know each other.
Mhm. Which one are you watching it on?
Ours. I'd
Oh.
be on Paul's then, huh?
Yeah. Would rather read the Bible. Nothing wrong with that. But what's
The
for?
whole meaning of Christmas in the first place.
Yep. I like family Christmas movies. Yeah. Die Hard is a very good family Christmas movie.
Oh goodness.
I don't have a tractor, need one, so I have visual in front so I can see what. But while he busted a hydraulic hose on his tractor. Yeah, I was worried the whole time when I had Tina up in the air on that one video. I'm sitting there watching my hydraulic lines because they're not the healthiest. And I'm just sitting there praying that one of those don't bust while I got her up in the air because somehow she's going to blame me for it when it was her idea.
Well, yeah.
The day after we put that loader on that tractor, I just put it all together, zip tied all the hoses up and everything. And I used it to go around and fetch a rear wheel, actually, to put on that Alice. And I got a little ways away from the door carrying that rear tire and wheel, and it blowed the hose that has the cylinders lifting up, and it shot fluid through the steering wheel. Where it blowed out, it hit right through the steering wheel, right over my lap. And I was like, how? And I didn't even get any of it on me. I was like, how in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched some of Cole the Corn Star, but I've quit watching Cole the Corn Star because Cole the Corn Star built a $1.5 million corn storage facility on their place, and then figured out that his deal wouldn't never pencil out, and so he challenged people to help him pay for it that was watching his videos by sending him money.
Oh, wow.
It just seems a little screwball to me. I think his dad might be genuine. I mean, I like what they do, except he's a little bit, I think it's a little bit put on.
I'm not sure why you're not saying your comments.
We're seeing your comments. I see that one.
Mm-hmm. Die Hard is a love story with a side order of action movie.
And Glenn and Shannon, there's something else about those comments. I don't know if it Restream does it or not, but on some lives, it only lets you make so big of a comment. It limits your characters on your comments. So you have to make a couple of them if they're long ones. You definitely have.
Great. My grandson and I are watching Christmas movies. He's 2.5.
Oh, that's precious right there. If you can get him to sit still long enough.
We haven't watched the Santa Claus none this year.
No, we haven't.
Hello, treasure hunter Neil.
Jesse says Taco Bell is packed.
Well, I guess you'll have to wait a little while then.
Well, we're not going to eat for a while anyway, so ain't no hurry.
You got time.
Anita and I usually try to grab something Sunday night after church if we don't have plans, and everybody seems to get out of church Sunday night if they go to church Sunday night at the same time, and so every place in Miami there'll be a waiting line everywhere. And I don't know what happened this past Sunday night. We went over there. There's nobody waiting in line at Brahms. There's nobody on the parking lot of a couple of different restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to Taco Bell, and there was one car in their drive-through, and we drove through there and didn't have to wait hardly any time at all. And usually, what is their fit at Taco Bell? 8 cars, maybe. You never get there. There's not at least 6 cars ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
So we ain't got all those choices. We've got Taco Bell or McDonald's. That's it.
Well, you go to Anderson, you got Sonic and Subway.
We got there's a Arby's and
I'm like Paul. I'd rather have Subway.
I never said that. Even if somebody else is buying,
I'm like Paul. She likes Subway.
I like Subway.
I think it's gotten to be too much.
Well, it is, yeah.
It's expensive.
It's very
It's
Not a
expensive.
good sandwich.
It's a little more expensive to eat just about anywhere. But then I make a video about going to Knott's and getting sandwiches, and I never even caught it in the video. I called it a ham sandwich, and it was roast beef and Swiss. Eric's first one says that's a mighty good looking ham sandwich, and I'm like, it's not a ham sandwich. And then I went back and watched the video I'd put up, and I'm like, Paul, you big dope.
It happens. I've gone back
Wanda,
and
I found this on YouTube, the movie's not on. The whole movie isn't on there anymore. It's divided up in pieces, and I can watch it that way, but that's about it. I got it on DVD, but who has a DVD player anymore?
Right. They've done that to a bunch of John Wayne movies. The only way you can watch the whole movie is to buy it.
I've watched it enough times. I have it memorized. I just still like to see it.
Yeah. Yep.
I can put the pieces in order on my own.
Teresa, what do you have nothing of? She says, we have nothing. I hope if you don't like it, snow, I hope you're talking about snow.
Oh, yeah. We don't want none of that.
No, they're not giving us much of a chance at anything like that, are they?
Yay.
and most of the time, any snow we get turns into ice anyway, and I don't like the ice.
Boy, I've been missing people coming in while I was looking at other stuff. So, hi, Tiffany. Hi, Jovita.
Oh, yep.
Let's say hi to, and I think I missed saying hi to Teresa earlier.
Well, she's already gone. She gone.
And going.
She gone.
Like, I ain't got none and I'm leaving. Hey, I have every John Wayne movie on VHS. I have no VHS player anymore.
I got.
Jesse says VCR.
Yeah. Well, you think that's funny? Friend of mine's kids. A friend of mine had a record player. You know what his kids called that? Big CDs. I'm like,
he actually has a record player in here somewhere.
Yeah, they're actually starting to get popular again. More and more people are starting to listen to records again.
it was restaurant.
Vintage.
I want to tell you something, Teresa. We have a lot of Mexican restaurants, more so than we used to be. Like there was hardly a town that didn't have two ways you could get fried chicken, and nowadays it's switched.
Hard to find fried chicken.
There's a lot of Mexican restaurants in Miami, and there's nothing wrong with them. I don't like them all the time, but
we got 2 in Anderson now.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think there's still one in Knoll. I don't remember if there's one over in Southwest City or not.
Jesse says in the closet.
There is a couple places you can get fried chicken, but there's no fried chicken restaurants in Miami, Oklahoma anymore.
Got a Kentucky Fried Chicken in the Osho.
Yep.
We used to go up to the old Smitty's grocery store. They had a restaurant on the north side of the one that was on Maiden Lane, and we would buy, when we was going to have a dinner at church, we might buy 50 or 75 pieces of fried chicken, and they'd sell them to us in a box, hot, prepared, ready to go, for $35.
Oh wow!
Well, you won't do that nowadays.
No. Any place that does it gets more than $1 a piece. And they done that for us for quite a while, and it was good. It was really good. But there used to be a lot more fried chicken places in Joplin. There used to be a Church's Fried Chicken on Main Street and
20th and Main. Yeah,
20th and Main.
Yeah, it was right across from the old KFC, which is now a vet clinic. I think I don't know if it still is or not.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and then they got the one out on 32nd Street. What's the name of that? Is that
Charlie's?
Charlie's Chicken.
Which makes me think of my brother. His name was Charlie, and he hated chicken.
Yeah, I think that's about the only one. I mean, as far as fried chicken place goes in Joplin, because they don't even have any KFCs anymore.
No, because Nanny would always beg us to stop in the Osho to bring Kentucky Fried Chicken up to her.
Yeah.
There is a couple of places you can get fried chicken. Granny Schaefer's probably one of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but
they've got good fried chicken.
mhm.
Um,
Charlie's was in Miami for years. We had a Charlie's chicken there. They opened it when my dad was working at Goodrich, and he would bring home cold chicken from there. They would sell you their cold chicken from earlier in the day for like 8 pieces in a brown paper sack for $1.
oh,
And I can remember him bringing that home several times.
I need to go up to Joplin and bring, because Tina's never had Fred and Red's there in Joplin. I don't know if you've ever ate there or not.
I've never ate there, but I've had it.
Yeah.
I've had it before. It's good.
You don't really want to eat in there because there ain't no room.
There's no room.
You know how small that building is.
Yep.
And it's even tinier inside. But yeah, they've got the best spaghetti red ever.
Yep.
We used to always get that a lot when I was a kid. And I don't think Tina and the kids have never had it. And
I know, Mike. Look, Mike says the obvious. Y'all are making me hungry.
Right?
I would hope this kind of talk made my wife hungry enough that she'd spring into action.
Spring into action.
She's
Wow.
probably going to say something in a little bit like, "You're going to have to build a fire in here. You let the fire go out." While
Yeah, it's kind of cold outside.
Yeah. Well, it was nice and chilly this morning.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's still warmer than it was this morning.
Yeah.
And I finally found my axe. I'd been looking for my axe that I carry in my feed truck for, I don't know, off and on for a month probably, because I know it's going to happen. I'll have to have it to break ice. And I could not find it. And finally, I was in one of my buildings and I'm like, well, there's the old blue and white truck that I had to use last winter when Mildred broke down. Open the door, there's that axe laying there.
Yep. Yeah, it's. I'll put something up where I know I'll be able to find it the next time I need it, and then that's where I wind up losing it, and I'm hunting. If I just leave it and just put it down somewhere randomly, I'll be able to find it when I need it. But if it's when I put it somewhere safe,
not me. I have boys. If I don't, that axe, if it's not in one of my trucks, it might be in their truck. Okay, Jesse, I'm going to do it. Listen, this is my question. The jar, you got to answer. What's your favorite thing from Taco Bell? Anita likes cheesy Fiesta potatoes.
Oh, I never tried that.
Those are good. I've had those before.
They're a deep fried, home fry kind of potato.
Taco Bell.
They put nacho cheese sauce on it and sour cream. And am I missing something? And they give you a spork. If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
I like their grilled cheese burritos. Those are pretty good.
I like some of the stuff that's on their cheap menu. It used to be $1. Ain't nothing $1 no more.
No.
They've got one that's a spicy chicken burrito that's pretty good. But if it ain't spicy, I can't taste it. So.
Steak and rice added.
Nachos with steak and rice added.
Burrito Supreme for Chris. Anita gets one.
I could go for a Burrito Supreme.
Yeah. Yes, to get your mom Burrito Supreme too.
No, I already ordered. I like the gorditas.
Yeah.
Say that again. I don't know you're a redneck.
The what?
You said it. Come on, say that again. I like their gorditas.
Did I say it wrong?
Gorditas. She likes their gorditas.
I never claimed not to be a redneck, so it's okay.
Some people call that redneckifying something.
Really gets the 3 taco supremes with Extra sour cream. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And
That's
Eric
all right.
hates it when I say add some guacamole.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You kind of look like guacamole tonight.
You either like it or you don't. I
Yeah,
have
I
trouble
do not.
eating.
I love it.
I have trouble eating guacamole without comparing it to a friend of ours's guacamole, and she makes the most tremendous. And I'm like, you'll dip that chip in that stuff and eat it. It tastes good. And then you look at your wife, and she says, "Ain't like Kathy's." I'm like, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
I don't remember where I was. I had gotten a cheeseburger one time from somewhere, and they put the avocado on it. And I took a bite out of that, didn't know it was in there. And I could
What is this green stuff?
Yeah, just the mouthfeel, the taste. It was like I was done.
There's something on my hamburger. Mhm. I make them quesadillas at home sometime. Them pretty good. That's pretty good stuff there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the. I'll be glad when Ponca City gets Whataburger finished. Joplin's got Whataburger, and Webb City now has one too. And
Yes, those Tahlequah.
yep,
Nobody that went to the meetup except for Paul Case would know that.
we ate breakfast there.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
It says, "Be right back." She must be ordering the food, or they're giving her the food.
cheesy double beef burrito for Mike.
So,
Hey, Mike did a cool thing, Rusty Garage and Homestead, on his channel. One of his recent videos was testing some fire starters, and it's the fire starter stuff you can buy. And he ran a test on that, and he had been using one, I believe, in his own wood stove, and it was working good in his wood stove. And when he did his test, it flunked badly.
huh?
But I'll tell you, Mike, if you need me to, I could give you, some used hay string. I told him he needed to try that used hay string trick. I'll have to video that. Y'all wouldn't believe how good that works, but I've tried to give used hay string away before, but never had anybody actually come by to get some. But he's close enough. He might stop by here one day, maybe.
There you go.
He's an Oklahoman.
Lori says, "I'm not a fan of guacamole either." Yep, that stuff is nasty.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised too, because I know you've been using that gel stuff in your stove, and it didn't work at all on your trial. Yeah. Mike, what is a town close to you? I can't remember. I know about where you're at. I know when you went to get them forks, you drove through several towns that I knew, Veneta and Welch, and
These Firsters got them on Amazon. I've been kind of wanting to try. I don't know if any of y'all follow that Outdoors with the Morgans, and he does a fire starter. I've been wanting to try some of what he has.
paraffin. He even showed once how he made that paraffin wax and planings or shavings from like a table saw or something.
Yeah,
It was all dry. That dry lumber pieces that you guys don't use all up work really good for that kind of thing.
yeah. We've used some of the kiln dried walnut because that stuff catches really fast. Burns hot too. Well, there's one time we was running out of wood. Was it 2 years ago? I think. And we had nothing but just the walnut scraps. So we went out the shop and started bringing them in. The side of our cast iron stove started turning white.
It was so hot.
It was so hot. And it's like, oh, I kept waiting for that thing to start cracking and everything. Once that fire went out, I went searching all over. It was like, it never cracked or nothing, but man, it's the side of it is just beat white now from where it got really hot. It's like, we won't be doing that again.
Yeah, you got to be a little careful, and walnut kind of burns hot anyway.
Yes, it does.
And you can tell it would do that because when it dries out, it gets really light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got some firewood last year, and it had some pieces of walnut in there. And you could tell the difference when we throw just a small piece of walnut in there, just firewood. And I mean, the temperature in the living room would just go way up just from that. I don't like burning it. It burns too hot. It's good though for in the early in the morning just to get the temperature brought back up when it's real cold.
Lynn Farm Okie was asking Texas Raider Chris where he was at. I'm not sure, but he mentioned Ponca City just a minute ago.
Yeah, he said Ponca City earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Got over a foot of snow today too. Ugh.
Yeah. A foot is okay. I can deal with a foot. When you get up past my knees, it's really difficult for me to do what I need to do. Yep,
Yeah.
he's near Ponca City, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I've been hung up before. Got stuck in a neighbor's yard and had to walk through the pasture about a quarter mile in snow that was above my knees, and that is really difficult to do because it drifts in places. It'd be worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was worse than walking a mile and a half, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
hard on you.
I was just really happy that when I got where I was going, the tractor started. All I could picture was me getting all the way over there and then it not starting to where I could go fetch my truck back out of a snowdrift in somebody's yard.
Ooh.
And I'd have been fine if I wasn't trying to help out a neighbor, you know.
Usually what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was going to work and my truck on our dirt road. I mean, the dirt road was just solid ice. I was actually able to make it to the dirt road, but as soon as I got to the highway, turned out onto 90 there and just kept on going right off into the ditch.
Yeah, your roads down there are not made for that kind of stuff.
No, they are not. And MoDOT does not treat the highways very well. And like I said, I think the dirt road was slicker than the highway was. I don't know how I even made it to the end of it. Tina had to come and get me. And she was driving my grandma's Lincoln Town Car at the time because it was right after she passed or when she was still in the hospital. I think she just passed. We were still driving it because we hadn't sold it yet. And it wouldn't make it up that one dip where you went down and go back up the other side. Well, she brought some cat litter and we're spreading it out and finally got it up the hill and turned around and back out. But yeah, I about slipped and fell 2 or 3 times just trying to get across the road, and then I did slip and fall on their dirt road. There's all my snow in Neil's yard. Xander told me to. So, but yeah.
Only last 5 minutes. No, I've seen it I've seen it warm enough and it snowed that it was.
The weirdest one though was that really bad ice storm we had in 2007, January 2007. Was that what it was?
Oh, yeah.
One where we lost electricity for weeks.
Because I was dispatching that night, and one of the Anderson officers came on the radio, and he said the ice is freeze drying on the roads, and we thought he was the dumbest guy in the world for saying that. And we went out, and yeah, everything asphalt and pavement was dry. But you get on, all the trees and power lines and everything was busted over.
Yeah, we had it in 2007. You had it in spring early south of here. And then we had it in the fall late or winter.
Yeah.
And it was the same calendar year.
Yeah.
I was
quite as bad, but just about, yeah.
I was supposed to get I was out of birds and was supposed to be out for a month. But I had always went ahead and got ready, and I had all my stuff ready. And there was a lady over at Anderson that her electric was off because of that storm. And so they brought me her birds. I couldn't get my buildings to warm up because they had 7 inches of that ice and sleet build up on top of the roofs. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do about that? He said, the best you can, because she can't get no heat. So that's the only time we'd ever done it. And we got along all right with that bunch. But usually if you place them birds in a cold building, ain't going to be too good. And the best I could get it up to was like 70, and they really want it like 85 or 90.
Yeah, we didn't have wood heat here then. Luckily, Mom was still, yeah, and she had wood heat, so and we couldn't. Did both of us stuck at work? Because I was at the jail for 3 days and never got to leave.
No, I was home when the power went out because I just started watching a movie, and the power flickered a couple times, and then it went completely out. And so I sent the kids on over to your mom's. I think you may have been at work at
I
that
was at
time,
work.
but I got called in because normally I work nights, and I got called into work that next morning because one of the girls that lived in Neosho couldn't get down to work. And luckily, I had my chainsaw with me because I wound up having to cut 2 or 3 trees out down on the dirt road that I went down just so I can make it to work.
Well, we've
So-
we've started a fight in the chat. Hey, y'all, you're wrong. I'll just start up telling you, all y'all are wrong. If it's 100 degrees, you're gonna like ice in your drink.
You can take that to the bank.
You can bank on it. Even Johnny Gillum likes ice in a beverage whenever it's 100 degrees.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we wound up staying with your mom
Several days.
for
Or a
more than 2
couple
weeks.
Yeah.
And I remember I come home one night and I was coming down the hill there and I could see the yard light kicked on. I'm like, we've got power. So I came into the house. I shut all the breakers off because we had a lot of people that come home when they heard the power and it started blowing stuff up. So I shut all the breakers off and then started turning everything on individually. Checked the water lines, turned on our electric blanket, turned the heater on, got it cranked up. And by the time I got done going around checking everything, the electric blanket was kicked on good enough and I slept in my own bed. It was still 34 degrees in the house, but I slept in my own bed that day.
We used to go to a conference that was the last Monday and Tuesday in January. And when we lived in the old rock house that my grandparents had built, we had put a wood stove in there and was trying hard not to use propane to heat it with. And we came home and nobody had built a fire and it was freezing.
Yeah.
And I said, we left after the last thing got over with that time. And it was in Oklahoma City. So it was like midnight, 1 o'clock when we got home. And I went in there and built a roaring fire in that little wood stove we had, and we froze to death in the bedroom all night. We couldn't make it.
Instead of electric blanket, we got the heated mattress pad for. I love it.
My side don't work.
Yeah.
I
My
use a little
wife's
blanket.
kind of hot natured. She don't want me to build up a big fire right before bed, and it's kind of hard to make it last if you don't do it that way.
We keep the bedroom shut up to where it's a little colder, so because you sleep better.
Yep.
Yeah, about 68, 69 degrees is about good sleeping weather for me. Colder, I'm fine with because as long as I got enough blankets, I'm good.
Paranormal.
But yeah, I'll
Hello.
pack that wood stove plumb full before I go to bed and let it go. That way, there's at least a few coals going in the morning when I get up or Tina gets up.
It was several
You
years
usually let it go out, and then I'm trying to get one started when I'm getting ready to go to work.
when I was in 4-H. I showed cattle at these cattle shows and fairs. We always had some club calves, and my dad had a slide in the back of your truck overhead camper that we would take with us and stay in. And we were at the Tulsa State Fair one year when it got pretty cold for October. It was like the first week of October. And we had actually filled the propane tank on that little camper up with propane, but that camper had no heat. And so the only way you could heat it up was the cooktop or the oven that it had that burned propane. And we had the windows all shut down tight and everything, but one of those little burners on that top of that cook stove sure made a lot of difference. And my dad, he's a pretty smart guy. He says, we'll have to get us a pan. I'm like, what are we going to get a pan for? He said, we're going to boil some water. So, well, why are we going to boil water? We're not cooking in here. He said, no, but we are going to sleep in here, and we ain't leaving that fire on while we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got a pan and boiled water in it and got it really hot. I mean, it was a rolling boil, shut it off, and we went to sleep. And that thing kept warm as long as there's warm water in that pan.
Yeah.
And
That works.
warm for a while. And since then, I've got some friends that like to go hunting and fishing and stuff. And they say what they'll do if they're like going to float down the river or whatever, they'll build them a fire. And they say they always put some rocks around it.
Yeah.
Make sure they'll fit in your pockets. And you
I've
pick
heard
them
people
up,
doing that too.
Yeah, pick them up, take them with you. Heat them rocks up.
Yep. I worked for Simmons, drove in the check bus. We had the little propane camp heaters that we keep in the bus there to kind of keep us warm. We was coming back from Siloam one night, my partner and I, and we got, I don't know, about this side of probably Gentry, and we both started winding up with really bad headaches. Our stomachs started hurting, everything else. And this was late night. It was probably 7, 8 o'clock. We was out all day that day. We get back to the hatchery, and the propane bottle had a leak in it. So we're just sitting there just getting all that, and we're getting carbon monoxide poisoning, and they didn't come out with anything better for us. We still had to use the propane, camp heaters, but
and the going in and out of those buildings a little bit with the higher ammonia in them whenever you're just placing them chicks and make it to where you can't smell that little bit of a leak.
Yeah, exactly. And because we had a couple of those farms there that they don't clean out very often, and you walk in there and that ammonia will knock you over.
That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what we did. Dad and I had a way to get kiln dried wood shavings from a couple of 3 cabinet shops, and one of them I know you know where it's at, Breckles. Breckles door, and then we also picked up stuff from Twin Oaks, and Twin Oaks quite commonly would make us 5 grain truck loads of stuff a week, if not 10.
Oh, wow.
And so we had a lot of extra bedding, and every time in between, we would go in there and put down bedding, especially in that middle part where we was brooding. That made a world of difference in how much ventilation you had to have on the first week.
Oh, yeah.
Little baby chicks. So I think it saved us a lot of gas to burn. And though, insult to injury, right after I'm not growing chickens anymore, they put a 4-inch natural gas pipeline right by my buildings. That would have been handy.
Family expedition.
I was telling Dale last night, we had an old lady outside of Pea Ridge that we haul birds to, and she had 2 of the old houses. We go in through the indoor, so your ramp's steep coming out of the back of that bus. And she never cleaned them houses out, but maybe once every 2 years.
Ooh.
And it was raining one day, and we got the birds in, and I'm hauling the boxes back out, walking up on the ramp. And of course, it's raining, so it's a little slickery. And I get about 2 steps up on that ramp, and I slip and fall, and I roll off, and I go down all the way up my shoulder and litter.
At least you had a soft landing.
Yeah, exactly. I was so glad when she finally shut her houses down, because that was right after that's when Simmons really started pushing those newer style houses that they went to, even on their private farms.
Well, they picked up that deal from Campbell's Soup. And when they picked that up, they got a whole bunch of growers for Campbell's Soup that didn't even have any automation at all. It was one of their feed truck drivers was telling me the first one of those farms he delivered to didn't have a feed bin. And the old boy met him up there and took a piece of metal off the roof, and they dumped the feed right in the floor on the end of the building so he could fill his feeders up with a feed cart.
Yep. We had a bunch of farms down by Mountainburg, Arkansas that we go to. Take 71 the old way down towards Fort Smith. You go up, and you got to go down these switchbacks to get down to them. There's the valley is probably about a mile long, and there's 2 or 3 houses down there, or farms down there. And then you go up the other side of the mountain, and there's 3 or 4 more farms up on the other side. But those people, They cleaned out every single flock. And
must have had a good way to get cheap bedding.
I don't know, but not only that, I mean, which they all helped each other because all we did is we took the birds in and hauled the empty boxes out because there was plenty of them there doing that. First time we went down there, because normally they got out of the silo.
Uh-oh, you stopped. Are you still there? Oh, no. Eric.
Okay.
Something,
did I lose connection or did you lose connection?
Something went haywire.
Yep. But so anyway, like I was saying, they normally got from the Siloam hatchery. The first time we went down there, unloaded, they're like, "Hey, well, we're about ready to eat lunch. You don't want to stop and eat lunch with us?" And we're like, "Sure, why not?" You know, which most places, you know, they might give you a bottle of water or a can of pop or something. No, we had sandwiches. They had turkey, the whole fixings. I mean, it was a big lunch. And by the time we can make back, I mean, we're done. We're full. And when we got done with there, we got back to our hatchery. And the next farm we had to go to is one of the crap farms that never cleaned out, was always stupid hot and stinky. We both was miserable that whole time. And we never, ever did that ever again.
I bet. Well, I wasn't on my own for very long, Dale. Leave me alone like that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just all of a sudden just boop, and gone. Well,
Dale,
actually, it dropped you, and it looked like we was just fine, and
we were gone.
Well,
it was gone.
You had froze on my screen for just a hair there, and then we swapped places.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to get off here. You need to get Dale to come up here. Where
Jessica ought to be getting about home with our dinner here shortly.
Come on, Jar.
Where she's at. I'll have to look to see where she's at.
Well, we've obviously moved to plan B from plan A. Pork chops that are in the refrigerator are not going to be for tonight.
Uh-oh.
I think we're going to get Chinese takeout.
Woohoo!
There's always Subway. Eat fresh. You know, I got as far as like fast food places, our boss got us hooked on, he brought us back Jersey Mike's. They got one down in Bentonville, and I think they got one in Joplin now. They actually had a good sandwich. It's about the same price as Subway, but the taste is like 100 times better. You actually,
I've never tried Jersey Mike's, but some of the videos I've seen, it looked good. But there's Slotsky's. I've never had any of theirs either, and I've heard they're really good. They're in Joplin.
I haven't had Slotsky since I was probably in high school because they've been there in Joplin for a long time. I've been there a few times, and
I think they got a new location.
Yeah, yum cat.
They've got a new location on 32nd and Main.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, Lori.
Yeah, I need to stop in there and just see because, like I said, the last time I ate there, I was in high school. A buddy of mine was running around.
That was a few days ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 30 years since I've ate there.
Well, we're going to go to Hunan Gardens where we're going. And I don't know how they do this, but we can drive from here up there. It's 20 minutes at least and get our food and drive home. And it's still too hot to eat when we get home. It must be boiling when they put it in containers.
So you don't want to eat it there then.
If you eat there, you're all right too. Of course, you always get the buffet.
We hated that one.
Hunan Garden, it's just 2 blocks north of 32nd and Main.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have ate there. I ate there when I was still doing construction when I was working at Freeman.
Without me.
I was working.
It was a working dinner. Work. Oh, never mind. You do too.
Actually, there was a bunch of carpenters that went in and ate lunch. So,
yeah, but you work in the wrong county to eat.
How long has Raney Ridge been married? A long, long time.
Since May of '98.
Got you
And I
beat.
haven't killed him yet.
I got you beat.
Ah.
Paul's got us beat.
I've been married to that lady that makes them cups since
If I get down there.
1994.
He
Oh.
had to stop and look.
I don't have to worry about her correcting me. She had it on the wrong day for years. She did. She admitted. I had to show her the marriage license.
Hey, welcome in, Tuber Chat.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes, you do. Sometime we should get together, Mike. You can drop me an email. Anybody wants to email me, you can feel free to email me. If you're going to email me with complaints, send them to casesawmill@live.com. But if you want something serious, email me at casesawmill@gmail.com.
Oh, snap. Oh.
You know, and I'll tell you, like I always do, I can't access that at live.com anymore. So you can just put whatever you want on that one. I can't access it. Read it. You'll feel better. So I'm helping you and me both out. I won't have to read it, and you'll feel better.
Hey, Nita.
Hi, Nita.
So, but yeah, I'm sitting here with 20 Fahrenheit outside, 67.
Bundled
Well,
up like an Eskimo.
Well, right before I leave, though, I'm going to drop a little hint. Been a new purchase on my farm, and it wasn't a very well planned out thing, but something kind of blowed up, and so I had to get something different.
Uh-oh.
There's going to be a video coming up about it. Yeah, I'm not thrilled, but we'll see if this works. You ever have one of those? Oh, can you believe I'm having to do that again? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about like that. For me, it wasn't a tool; it was the frame I was making that kept doing that to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's Trade Paint is Sean, and Rusty Garage and Homestead is Mike. Mike is between Chelsea and Claremore, and Sean, I believe, is at Adair or around Adair. So he's Oklahomian too. But I don't know, and you guys may know, do we have anybody from Maine in here? You know,
I don't know that one.
if anybody of our normal homesteader group is from Maine, but that would be okay if they were, but probably better off if we don't have any maniacs.
That was funny.
Boom! Right. Between Adair and Chelsea. Yeah, you guys are not very far away.
Nope, that's
You're
not far at
closer
all.
to each other than you are to me, but for sure.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we gotta finish up that. We left our tool video on a cliffhanger.
yeah.
Back when I was looking at getting a bandsaw mill, the first bandsaw mill I had was a Easy Boardwalk brand. And I had a neighbor here that had one. He didn't live very far from me. But I ran into a guy by proxy. He showed up at my place to buy a flatbed I had for a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out he had one. A Easy Boardwalk sawmill, and he was at Chelsea, and I can't remember his last name. His first name was Stanley. He lived right on the highway as just going into just before you drop off into the river bottom there by Chelsea, and that his place had red and white silo tops. Right on the south side of the highway on 66 highway. Can't remember his last name. Stanley was his first name. And it turned out he was actually all the way up in here, not very far from me, sprigging Bermuda grass for somebody else. So, yep, he had one. Went over there, and he needed to build him a house. and he bought this sawmill and then loaned it to a friend of his to cut up a bunch of pecan to build a house for somebody else. You guys need to get together and get that guy to build.
That's just here, Tina.
He was living in a shack, if I remember right back then. That's
Yep.
been years ago.
So,
Yeah.
well,
Yes, they are, and they're a tough mill. I couldn't tear it up.
I like ours so far. I just need to get it used up more so she'll get off my case.
Did you
It's
say
just a
case?
yard ornament right now.
But it's a good looking one. Got that pretty blue tarp over covering, keeping the head covered so it don't get all rusty and ruined. And
Sure would be
That's
nice
all
if
right.
it'd be used.
Yeah, that's all right. I got some of that Rainy Ridge yard art. I do.
spreading the love.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm gonna get off
goodness.
here. It's been good chatting with you guys, and maybe I'll see you if Johnny has live after a while.
Actually, they've posted it. It's going to be on at 8. So I think we're going to clear out too and eat our supper. And everybody can have, maybe a meal break between.
Yeah, everybody go have a meal break after all this food talk.
Look, you're right. That's the guy, Stanley Snyder. He knows him.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Burritos my order.
I'm a little disappointed though. I thought I'd be smelling Taco Bell by now. Ain't any
Yeah,
up
she
in my
just
house.
walked in.
If
She's
it's not, we'll probably smell it later.
You guys have a great weekend.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Bye-bye.
all right, guys. Take care. So, yep, I think we're going to go ahead and cut out of here as well. Guys, we appreciate y'all coming on. Paul, we appreciate you coming in with us. And if we don't get to see you again between now and then, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Remember the reason for the season.
Amen. So we will catch y'all later. Remember, Gillums will go on at 8 o'clock tonight. So
We
we'll
got
catch
about
y'all
an
there.
Hour and 9 minutes.
Hour and 9 minutes. Everybody go get you some food after all this food talk tonight. And I'm going to go eat dinner. And we will.
Tell Johnny and Christine we sent y'all over.
Yep. So catch y'all later. Love you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.